Hey everybody, my name is Chris. This is one in a series of videos in which we walk through the construction of a GA4 account all the way from tracking code placement to Looker Studio build out. In a previous video in this series, we actually put together a Looker Studio report. Now it's time to refine it a little bit. As I noted in the previous video, you can see in which we connect GA4 as a data source to Looker Studio. We also talked about a process that I rely on to identify major marketing questions that we're seeking to answer for our dashboards or with our dashboards and our data visualizations, and organize those questions by priority, define metrics to answer those questions, and then get it all into a Looker Studio dashboard. Now, this is just the draft. We took a couple steps, again, in a previous video, if you want to check that out in this series, in this playlist, to put all these charts and graphs and scorecards and tables together. Now, in this particular one, we're going to take a look at the Looker Studio dashboard a little bit closer and make sure that we can incorporate some functions, some refinement options to make sure that the dashboard tells a story, but also does so in a sophisticated way that's easy on the eyes for our reporting audience. So a couple of the different refinement options that we're going to cover are just simple math equations. So we're going to do some math, which we can do with Looker Studio with some functions. We'll place some hyperlinks. So there is a table here that references a number of different pages on the website. Just to make it easier to reference those pages, we're just going to link every one of those page references in the report. We're going to do some conditional formatting. So Maui Humane Society, the client for which we were doing this, putting this report together, really wants to call out certain locations where we're driving traffic from or we're generating traffic. So we're going to do that as well. We'll talk about that some more. And then we'll incorporate some data controls. Now, if you're looking to get a little bit more background information about Looker Studio functions, anytime I'm looking for anything on Google, the easiest thing to do is just Google it. And so if you go to Google and search for Looker Studio function list, you'll find a page that looks a lot like this, and it will walk you through kind of a laundry list of all the different equations and functions that are available with Looker Studio in tables and line graphs, etc., or bar charts, whatever it is. Any visualization you want, pretty much. So just to kind of take a look at a couple of these, let's say we wanted to uppercase a value. That's what the function looks like right there. So we can uppercase the device category so it doesn't say mobile, desktop, tablet, smart TV, lowercase, it'll all be uppercase. We can replace things. So we do this a lot with page titles. If we're showing a page title, we're actually going to walk through this example here in this video. We can kind of take the page title and clean it up a little bit, replace it with something with nothing in this case. Math equations like we talked about, we can hyperlink objects. We can concatenate items together, so that's something we might want to do. Basically, concatenate's a fancy word for just smush things together or bring them all together. And we can combine some of these functions too, like the hyperlink concat functionality there. So those are some things we're going to take a look at. Let's go over to Looker Studio right now. This is the one that we're working with. And in the lower right corner, you can see that we've got donation activity, and we've got a table for the different donation campaign, the donations, and the gift total. So let's actually add an average gift amount there. So to do that, we're going to need to do a math equation. So if I hit the edit button right up top here, and I select this particular table. Now, I've already edited the labels for these donation and gift total. So again, in a previous video, we talked a little bit about the difference between dimensions and metrics. The dimension here is donation campaign. That corresponds to this column right here. Donations and gift totals you can find right here and right here. The actual metric that we're using here is event count for donations, and then gift total is the event value. And so if I want to get the average gift amount, I want to take the total and divide it by the donations. In other words, I want to take event value and divide it by event count. Okay, so let's take a look at that right now and see what that looks like. So I'm going to add a metric right in here, and I will not find average donation amount anywhere, so I've got to create it. Okay, so I'm going to go add a field, and then I'm going to just give this a label. We'll call it average gift. And then I'm just going to do a simple math function, again, in which I take event value and then divide it by event count. So what this is really doing is saying, give me the dollar amount and divide it by the number of donations we've got here. Okay. I don't want the format to be a number. I actually want it to be a currency, and I can choose US dollar here, and that should give me what I want. Let's see if this works properly. So we're going to bring this in, and then it looks like, yeah, we've got what we want there. A couple of things we might want to take consideration of. If we look really closely here, it's not actually dropping the decimal point at the second spot in every case. So I can alter that a little bit if I go to Style and then find 1, 2, 3, the third metric, which is right about here. And then the decimal position will be 2. And now I've got a consistent decimal position throughout. So that's just one example of a mathematical equation. Another item that we're going to want to update here is the top content. And as I noted earlier, we want to shorten this up a little bit. So this is pulling in page title, but every page title throughout the Maui Humane Society, you can see the page title way up here, the Maui Humane Society website incorporates a dash Maui Humane Society kind of suffix for every single title. So I want to clean that up a little bit. I don't need all of that. I can clean that up. So if I take page title and I'm going to add a field. So anytime we do something custom, we typically are adding a field. For this, I'm just going to call it page just to make it nice and simple. And I'm going to replace the page title, and the piece that I want to replace is, and it'll give you some hints and tips over here, is the item that says dash Maui Humane Society. And it's apropos that we're doing a video for Maui Humane Society, and you can hear my dogs in the background. If you can hear them barking, that's what they're doing. And now we're going to hit replace. So I've replaced this suffix with nothing. So it basically says, okay, you want to replace something? What do you want us to evaluate? All right, great. We'll evaluate the page title. What do you want to replace? What do you want to replace it with? And so you can see over here now, we've taken out that suffix, that dash Maui Humane Society all the way through. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a hyperlink. So again, if we look at the function list here, I'm going to start, let me fix that real quick. I'm just going to start this with a hyperlink function. And anytime you start to do this, Google will give you some tips as to how to put this together. So it says we want to bring the URL with whatever the link label is, okay? So the URL is just going to be page location. Okay, and then the item that we're going to replace, or that the label is going to be just the page title we've got right here. So we've already got that, so I'm just going to wrap that in a semicolon, or I'm sorry, a parentheses. We should get it, and you'll notice we've got this little red item right there. When it's turning green, which it will here, it should be good to go. And now we've got a hyperlink. Again, what this is doing is it's getting a label, and it's saying, you want a hyperlink? Great. Where do you want to send people? To the page location, which is just a metric, or I'm sorry, a dimension in Looker Studio for the full URL. So this allows us to, or it allows the reporting audience, or the client in this case, allows Maui Humane Society to say, like, all right, the third most popular page is dog outing programs. Which page is that? Well, they can click it. Oh, there it is right there, right? So it just allows them some easy room. Now, I noticed that when we did add this page, some things are getting kind of bunched up a little bit. So I'm going to kind of move some stuff around so we can see the full bounce rate metric. I'm a little OCD when it comes to this, which is probably the only time that is a good quality. But now we're good to go here, all right? So what else do we want to do in this thing? Let's do some conditional formatting. Now, one unique item here is what people access the Maui Humane Society, which is on the island of Hawaii, or Maui in Hawaii. They are coming primarily from Hawaii, but it's really important for the Maui Humane Society to measure traffic from out of state or off the island, because they actually have programs in which you can adopt dogs, and they will ship the dog or the cat or the whatever the animal is to you if you're interested in adoption. Okay, so that's one campaign they're focused on early in the year 2024. And so what we want to do is really call out in this state table right here, the city-state table, anything that is not Hawaii, like California or Washington or Virginia and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go select this table, go to the style. Before I hit style, let's just evaluate what this state dimension is. If I click on this, you can see that I labeled it state. It's really region, so I got to pay attention to that. But if I go to style, you'll see that we've got some conditional formatting. And if I hit add, then I can select this, and it'll allow me to choose a field like state and say does not equal Hawaii. When this does not equal Hawaii, or that value right there, then I want that particular cell to, let's call it out, let's really highlight it, we'll make it orange and give it some white text. And then I can hit save. So again, what I'm doing here is saying, hey, if you see a state that is not equal to Hawaii, make that baby orange with white text, okay? And there we go. So we can really call that out. So when the folks at Maui Humane Society are evaluating this particular table, they can scroll up and down the table and determine what their most popular origin cities are in terms of cities that are providing traffic. And if they're not on, on Hawaii, then it'll highlight those. You can highlight whatever you want. You can do greater than, less than, whatever mathematical function you want to do there is feasible, okay? So we've got some math equations, we've got some hyperlinks, we've got some conditional formatting. The other thing we're going to want to do here, just for the sake of usability and ease of use for this particular report, is we are going to add a control. Now, typically the control that we always add is the date range control, right? And with this date range control, if you choose a different period, let's say we choose the month of May and hit apply, every single metric and graphic in this report will adjust to reflect what happened in May, right? The other option I can do is I can just say, you know what, I just want yesterday or the last 28 days or the default last month and hit apply. And again, every single item in here will adjust if we've got all these set up properly, okay? Now, because all these adjusted to the date, what if we could add another control? For example, if we wanted to really keep tabs on the source medium that is driving traffic, or the collection of source mediums that are driving traffic, we could do a drop-down list, just like our date range control. Pop it in there, okay? Now, right away, it's giving me the date option. I don't want that. I want session source medium. So there's a couple ways to do this. You could search for it over here. Okay, and I can just drag it over. The other option is I can search for it right in here. Okay, there's multiple avenues to a singular destination with this thing. Oh, source. Okay, and it's gonna give me that label, session source medium. The reporting audience for this particular dashboard might not understand or love that, so I can change the label. So I'm going to select this little pencil icon and say, you know what, let's just make this nice and easy, source medium. You do have to choose the session source medium dimension in a lot of cases if you just want to measure the source and medium or campaign of session or traffic, right? So that's an important distinction. And then when I look at this here, I've got, all right, there they all are. I don't know if I want those views in there. I do want to sort by sessions, but I don't want to show those numbers in the drop down. So I'm going to say, you know, don't show the values. So now their values should be gone if I uncheck that. There they are. Now, just like we chose the specific date range, because this controls every single one of these items in this dashboard, if I just say, hey, I just really want to focus on what's going on with the Google Organic program. Let's view this thing so we can see a little bit better. I just want to focus on Google Organic. I hit only. Now, every single chart graph, it'll take its sweet time doing this, but every single chart graph will just filter down to Google Organic. Like the only channel that you see here is organic search. Looks like we didn't get any donations from Google Organic, right? And I can choose multiple. Or I can just say, you know what, show me everything. and off I go, right? So this might be helpful for you when you want to really kind of focus on a particular campaign or source medium. You don't have to just choose this one. You can choose geography, any dimension you want. You can choose geography, you can choose a page, you can choose a device type, a channel, whatever it is, right? So this is a kind of a handy little control option for you that you can modify just to give your reporting audience a little bit more control over the data that they want to see in their report, and make the report much more interactive going forward. All right. So those are just a few refinements for you. Hopefully that's helpful. If you did find that this video was valuable, please consider donating to Maui Humane Society. Thanks for watching.